Hey, Shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahshua B'Shem HaKadosh. Double honors to my teachers, the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone. This is the brother Liash from the church here in Cleveland, Ohio. I brought this back with another lesson of the Spirit. I just wanted to touch on obedience. Obedience is better than sacrifice. We're going to get that actual precept, but we're going to start from the top to paint the picture and see how it applies today. And I also want to get the word justify. And after I read this account, I'm going to read the first 20 verses, so bear with me, be patient. But, it's a method to the madness, as they say. You can't just do whatever the hell you want in this thing. The scriptures say, as a matter of fact, let's grab it. Let's do all things decently in order. Because that's how this works. The brotherhood, the ministry, the structure that the Lord set up, things work in order. That's why the Lord compares it to husbandry. That's why the Lord compares us to his building. Because a building can't be architecturally sound if all the bricks are not fitting perfectly based upon that chief cornerstone. You're not going to yield a good harvest if you neglect the small things. You're planting on ground that's not fertile. You're not tilling to the land. You're not properly watering. You're not doing things in order, but you expect big crops. That's backwards. So again, 1 Corinthians 14:40 says, let all things be done decently and in order, not some, not just the things you deem worthy. Let all things be done decently in order. When John beat Peter to the sepulcher, to Yahushua's grave, he waited outside. The order matters. But I digress. This is 1 Samuel 15:1. I'm going to read the 22. Then I got a precept in Deuteronomy, then the definition obey, and Lord willing, us be edifying. It says, Samuel also said unto Saul, the Lord Yahweh sent me to anoint thee to be king over his people, over Israel. Now therefore hearken thou unto the voice of the words of the Lord. And again, when you hear hearken unto the Lord, you should automatically be thinking about the prophets, especially those you have been in the fold a long time, because the Lord is not going to come to you directly. Yahweh Shem Yahshua sent his men. That's why we listen to the elders and apostles the way we do. That's why we listen to our camp heads, our bishops. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel, how he laid wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt. Now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not. So the Lord gave instructions. Destroy all that they have and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. Clear instructions. And Saul gathered the people together and numbered them in Telaim, 200,000 footmen and 10,000 men of Judah. And Saul came to a city of Amalek and laid wait in the valley. And Saul said unto the Kenites, go, depart, get you down from among the Amalekites, lest I destroy you with them. For ye showed kindness to all the children of Israel, so when they came up out of Egypt. So the Kenites departed from among the Amalekites, and Saul smote the Amalekites from Havilah until thou camest unto Shur, that is over against Egypt. And he took Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive, and utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword. But Saul and the people spared Agag, and the best of the sheep, and of the oxen, and of the fatlings, and the lambs, and all that was good, and would not utterly destroy them, but everything that was vile and refuse, that they destroyed utterly. So let's go back and see what the Lord said. Verse 3, now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. That means everything. But Saul took it upon himself. Oh no, I'm a hold on to the king and some of the sheep and lamb and oxen. That looks good. I'll keep it. Verse 10, then came the word of the Lord unto Samuel, saying, It repented me that I have set up Saul to be king, for he has turned back from following me, and have not performed my commandments. He did not follow instructions. And it grieved Samuel, and he cried unto the Lord all night. And when Samuel rose early to meet Saul in the morning, it was told Samuel, saying, Saul, come to Carmel, and behold, he set him up a place, and is gone about and passed on, and gone down to Gilgal. And Samuel came to Saul, and Saul said unto him, Blessed be thou of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem El Shai. I have performed the commandment of the Lord. And Samuel said, What meaneth then this bleating of the sheep in my ears? So going back to 13, Samuel came to Saul, and Saul was like, Hey, Barakatha Yahweh, I did it. And Samuel said, What you mean? What's all this? What's all this? And Saul said, They have brought them from the Amalekites, where the people spared the best of the sheep and of the oxen to sacrifice unto the Lord thy God, and the rest we have utterly destroyed. Then Samuel said unto Saul, Stay, and I will tell thee what the Lord hath said to me this night. And he said unto him, Say on. And Samuel said, When I was little in thy own sight, was thou not made the head of the tribes of Israel? And the Lord anointed thee king over Israel? And this reminds me of the big brother Mahad, because like sometimes you got to remind Jake what you done for him. Like Yahweh Bashem El Shai raised Saul from that low estate and made him king. He didn't have to do that. Wherefore then didst thou not obey the voice of the Lord, but didst fly upon the spoil, and didst evil in the sight of the Lord? Disobedience. And Saul said unto Samuel, Yea, I have obeyed the voice of the Lord, and have gone the way which the Lord sent me, and have brought Agag the king of Amalek, and have utterly destroyed the Amalekites. But the people took up the spoil, sheep and oxen, the chief of the things which should have been utterly destroyed, to sacrifice unto Yahweh thy power in Gilgal. And Samuel said, Have the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord. So Jake going to it all the time, don't necessarily go into the account and bring out the story. And as we know, going on with the same rebellious house, that eventually those sacrifices became an irritant, a smoke in the Lord's nose. Not a savory one like the incense, like the prayers of the righteous, but it became an irritant. Because Jake was saying, go the hell off, premeditated, and then have the sacrifices ready. And when you sacrifice, you're supposed to be in a penitent state of mind. You're supposed to be remorseful. And that blood is supposed to remind you, of that covenant. Because the Lord is appeased by that blood being shed. You're supposed to think of the Lord's judgment. And think how he spared you. Verse 22 again, it says, And Samuel said, Have the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? So Samuel basically told him, which one is more important? Sacrifices or doing what I said the first time and doing it how I asked you to do it? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. So listening, I would rather you listen to what I'm saying. Because I didn't tell you that for no reason. And it's not just some regular man. This is Yahweh Bashem El Shai talking to him. Again, through the mouth of the prophets. Verse 23, it says, For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Idolatry, is a sin worthy of death. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he have also rejected thee from being king. So I bring this up because you get judged when you don't listen. If you haven't learned that from the book of Judges, from Deuteronomy 20:15 on down, all these captivities we were in are a result of our disobedience. This is Deuteronomy 13:4. It says, ye shall walk after Yahweh your power and fear him, and keep his commandments, and obey his voice, and ye shall serve him and cleave unto him. So bro, that word obey in Deuteronomy 13:4, it's the word Shemai, which means to listen, to hear, perceive by ear, to hear with attention or interest, to listen to understand, to hear of judicial cases, to listen, to give heed, to consent, to agree. Point being, we're supposed to be hearkening and listening to the voice of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. We're supposed to be obeying his law, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability. You can't just do what the hell you want to do and say that you're serving the Lord. The Lord ain't rocking with that. You have to be obedient. We're paying attention to our spiritual fathers, which are the elders and apostles. We're abiding to the Spirit. And that's a huge part of making your call and election sure. You can't come up some other way. You can't do what you want to do and profess yourself to be a man of the Lord. You do what has to be done. You do what Yahweh Shem Yahushua tells you. And that's what a good soldier does. A good soldier does what they told. But that's all I wanted to bring out. Lord willing, this is edifying. Until next time, shalom.